Welcome to Students Know Better podcast with Coach Larry, everybody, and we are here back on this amazing episode. We'll be talking about project management and artificial intelligence, and of course, about Social Enterprise Hub from Torrens University, because we have so many success stories, successful projects, successful industry partners involved with the Social Enterprise Hub. They want to spread the word, want to spread the love and the knowledge, and also the amazing outcomes that we are getting through these projects. I have the absolute pleasure to introduce you to two amazing guest speakers today. We have him, MBIS graduate, one of our stars from Torrens University, especially in the Social Enterprise Hub doing placement, Kevin Tanil, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Kevin. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for your time, Larissa.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. You know, Kevin, all the time when I meet Peter Graves, who is the Social Enterprise Manager, and we talk about placements and projects and amazing leaders, we always talk about you. So I'm very flattered to have you here. And
thank you. It's
looking forward to learning from you, Kevin.
Thank you. Thank you.
And also, I'm here with him, Paul Hedges, everybody. I did my research before the podcast episode about Paul's career journey, and it's very impressive, Paul. So Paul is the current managing director for Rate My Clinic, also the SA manager for small business SA. Paul, guys, is a coach, is a trainer, is a very successful entrepreneur, I must say, and very knowledgeable as well. More than 30 years of services. So if you want to learn about leadership, please, we are with him here. Don't miss out and watch this entire episode, everyone. So Paul, welcome.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Amazing. So Paul, I'm going to start with Kevin.
Yep.
Kevin, why don't you have a chat with you? Our MBIS graduate from Torrens University is doing an amazing job with Rate My Clinic as a project advisor. But before you talk more about the project and your role within this project, Kevin, can you share with us a little bit about your career journey?
Why
did you decide to come to Australia? Yeah, tell us what you want to tell us.
That's true. That's
Kevin.
true. I would say maybe I'll start to tell you a little bit story of how I go deep into information technology, IT in general. So for basically I grew up with I exposed with all those information technology stuff. So my dad is IT director in one of the company in Indonesia, and all my two brothers are actually graduated in IT as well. And they have pretty much a good career back in Indonesia as well. So 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 during my childhood, where most of my friends were like outside playing football and stuff, because I sit I stay in my house, in front of the computer, because I think back then I think during early 2000, like you couldn't find any computers like in the common household area. So so I pretty much have like a good opportunity to expose to computer.
So you grew up in this environment, yes? You grew up in this environment. Everyone was involved with information systems and technology and computers. So you kind of, do you think that somehow, not somehow, you were heavily influenced, yes, by your family? Yeah?
It's pretty much contributed to my, that's how I appreciate like the world of IT, of course,
But Kevin, did you enjoy that? Do you like
I love
industry, this field? Yes,
I love it. Yeah, it's thriving and it's dynamics. Like it keeps changing all the time. I mean, like in early 2000, we only have like, I mean, Microsoft. Maybe Microsoft just starting to being used in the general common with the common people. But now we can see how the artificial intelligence change people's life.
Fantastic.
That's amazing. It's keep changing. So yeah,
So it's
there
a
are a
tool,
lot of
not a
opportunities.
threat. Yes, people say. So we can talk.
It's debatable. Yeah, it can be a threat. It can be an opportunity. Like, yeah, maybe we can discuss about it later.
Yes, Kevin, love it. Okay, Mr. Kevin, now tell us a little bit about the project that you have been working on. Yeah, with Rate My Clinic, with Paul Hedges, with the hub. Yes. So tell us everything about it. Yes. The beginning of your journey, what you have developed, what you have learned, and your contributions as well, Kevin.
Sure. Yeah. So I won't really talk a lot about the project itself. I think Paul is the best person who can explain to you all about like the overview of the project. But according to my understanding, the Rate My Clinic was established by Paul. It's basically helps allied health clinic owners with an easier to understand assessment of their business. So Paul can, with his experience, he can give a recommendation how the clinic can improve. So in order to achieve that level of understanding of the business of the clinics, so Paul needs to ask a lot of questions to the owner of the clinic. Paul also needs to ask a lot of questions to the client of the clinics, and Paul also have to ask a lot of questions to the team members of the clinic or the staff of the clinics. And this is where the Social Enterprise Hub project located at. Like, instead of doing all the manual labors, it's taking a lot of time, taking a lot of resources. It's Paul came out with the idea of automation through artificial intelligence.
Wow.
And that's what we basically did on the last trimesters on Social Enterprise Hub.
Kevin and Paul, I must say, with confidence that this can be revolutionary.
It's
in the healthcare sector. Really, this is amazing.
I would say that.
Would you agree, Kevin?
Definitely. I mean, maybe it. We still. I mean, artificial intelligence. It's still emerging. Right? We haven't even hit the tipping point yet. So until the government can regulate the policy, how can they handle the privacy of data, then I would say it's possible. Amazing. We are still in the early stage of the artificial intelligence development. So
okay, if I can understand a little bit, Kevin and Paul. So the main purpose of the project is to really harness the power, yes, correct, if I'm wrong, please, of artificial intelligence. Yes, artificial intelligence through something called sentiment analysis. I came across this. I was, oh my God, sentiment analysis. Yes, to improve the quality of care for the patients, and improve their satisfaction as well. How to do the sentiment analysis, Kevin? This is something that I was very impressed by when I read.
So sentiment analysis is a tools that help you to determine if let's say you go to a restaurant,
yes,
and then you finish you sit in the restaurant, you finish your food, and then you left, and then at the end of the day, maybe the manager will ask you, how do you like the food, and you can't say either I'm happy with the food, I'm not happy with the food, or I like the food but blah 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 blah. So the human interpretation can be biased. So that's why we are utilizing artificial intelligence, because they are a machine learning that have been trained to read. They have been trained with a lot of data from the past, and can help us to determine sentiment accurately. I mean, like we don't want to put human bias in the system.
Of course.
That's I mean my understanding of the sentence can be different from you, right, or from Paul.
Yes,
it can be because of our cultural background, that's true, or gender, or religion can be, so
even education background as well. Yes,
that's
definitely
true. That's true. That's why, and then of course, in the development of the sentiment analysis is just one of the element of the project. I mean, the project itself has a few more elements. It can be analyzing the financial aspect of the clinic, can be analyzing the strategy, their business strategy, and also Paul will recommend them like maybe the 5 years long-term goal in some of 5 years, what the clinic wants to achieve. Yes, but sentiment analysis is one of the most, I think, essential
tools that use.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this is incredible. This is amazing, Kevin. But let's talk a little bit of artificial intelligence in project management. Yes, a little bit out of the project. Do you think that artificial intelligence or AI has come to stay? And what is the value of it, especially for project management or for project managers, Kevin?
That's the thing with artificial intelligence, because there are a lot of people out there concerning about how will my job in the future replaced by artificial intelligence, which is I'm in the position that artificial intelligence will not replace your job. Maybe for the next 20 years, 30 years, because we still need human, of course, right?
Yes.
At the end of the day, but artificial intelligence can be a tools that support human work, so they can work efficiently, and accurately. So let me tell you a little bit, in my understanding, how AI can help project managers. I think the most important use case of artificial intelligence in project management is a task automation. So AI can help you with the scheduling. Maybe they can help you in a task scheduling. So the way it works, they will collect some data. They continuously collect data month to month. They learn the pattern. They analyze the time data, recognize the pattern in work habits. Maybe Larissa spent 5 hours working nonstop, 1 year. 1 hour taking rest and then continue again.
Yes.
So artificial intelligence can learn all this. Can learn about the time tracking, and then they also can learn about the pattern, and also they can help you to determine the bottleneck in the project. So maybe AI algorithms can pinpoint the bottlenecks in the workflow. For example, based on the history, let's say. If you need to build a software,
yes,
it usually take for the most of the team, it takes maybe around 7-8 weeks to the point that it can be a viable software. I mean, like most viable project, but your project is taking 12 weeks, so artificial intelligence can help you determine where do you do wrong in the project, and then they can tell you like how can you improve. Accurately. They can also forecast and help you to estimate how long the task should take, and also help you with the future planning and then setting more realistic goals as well.
Amazing, Kevin. Kevin, let's talk about Paul. And I will ask some questions to Paul as well. Do you think that Paul, because when I check Paul's profile, LinkedIn especially, he has so much experience in leadership roles, and he comes across as a very humble leader, an individual. Yes. So would you agree with me? I know that we are talking about artificial intelligence and project management today, but I really would like to talk about leadership here and your view about Paul's leadership during this project.
On my point of view?
Yes, of course.
Paul, every time, so we usually have a meeting with everyone, right? So every time Paul was talking, everyone was like just listening seriously. So Paul is really good.
So he encourages you, motivates the team. Yes,
that's correct. Yeah,
fantastic.
That's why I know Paul has a very good track record. That's why I decided to follow Paul for continuation of my social enterprise hub, and now I'm working with Paul for the side project, maybe for his website, or also for the help, also advise the another team members on the Social Enterprise Hub for trimester 3 as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Kev. I'll get back to you. But
Sure.
I've got some questions to Paul Hedges, everybody. Paul, how are you again today?
I'm very well. Thank you.
Amazing. So, Paul, Rate My, let's talk a little bit about Rate My Clinic. Yeah? So,
Sure.
this is a small business that you've had since 2002. Paul, is that correct?
No.
So, how long have you had this business for?
So 2022.
2022, yes.
Yeah, so you might be thinking of a physio clinic that I run with my wife.
With
that
your wife, yes.
Yeah, since 2002. The idea of Rate My Clinic came about because as a business owner, I struggled to get the right kind of data on the physio industry. There didn't seem to be a lot of useful information with regards to industry benchmarks. And also I discovered that, I had a lot of experience in my corporate career with surveying and the power of surveying. I discovered that wasn't widely done in the allied health industry. And it was through conversations with a few different people and lots of different thinking. But over the course of a few months, the idea of creating an assessment that uses objective data to then assign a score in different areas of the business. So strategy, finance, clients, and team are the 4 key pillars that then provide an overall rating as well. And so at the same time as doing that, what would happen is post running a pilot group, we then had industry benchmarks that I was comfortable with in terms of accuracy. So because of the fact that there is quite a rigorous process, and just a simple example is finances. In the past, there's been big reports done from big accounting firms talking about what industry profit averages are. But what they don't do is they don't explain how they get to those numbers, and they don't explain how they normalize those numbers. So, for example, people pay themselves differently. Some clinic owners pay themselves a wage, some don't. Some pay themselves to run the business, some don't. Some pay dividends, some pay wages, etc. So what we've done is we've normalized all of that. And so we then have a number that we're quite confident in terms of its accuracy. It'll only get even more accurate the more people that we run through assessment. So the idea of this whole assessment process was born, I guess, early last year, and then developed over a period of months. And I worked with someone in the industry to help create a pilot group. And so we had 15 clinic owners from around the country as part of that pilot group. And that then formed the basis of our benchmarking system. And since that time, we've now got data on over 40 clinics around the country.
Wow.
Which is, it's the most relevant data source that I'm aware of for the industry. Now that is just in the physio industry, but our whole goal is in the entirety or virtually the entirety of allied health, with maybe a few exceptions. So we will then shortly be targeting a group, probably of podiatrists as our next camp. We'll be doing osteopaths, etc., etc. We're going to be doing dentists and a number of others. So we're going to run the same process where we form industry benchmarks that are useful and practical for clinic owners to understand how they compare against them. And at the same time, the reports that we do, they give them a whole bunch of this data with industry benchmarks, but they also give them a lot of qualitative information, including recommendations that we can make for improvements across a number of these key areas. So that's the premise. And what's happened as a byproduct of that as well is that I'm working individually with a number of clinics that have gone through the system because they just don't have the support structure. They don't have the experience themselves to do a lot of what needs to be done to improve their clinic. So we're filling a bit of a void, particularly for a lot of them that just, don't have a business background, which is most of them, because they're an allied health therapist, first and foremost, and that's what they do really well. But also the fact that, small business owners in general are often very lonely because unless they have a really strong network of experienced people, who do they go to? So we're slowly but surely creating that network of various providers and helping our clients find, an accountant, find someone to build their website, find someone to market them, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, that's been interesting how it's, how it's changed a little bit over the journey. And it's just all about understanding what the needs are and creating a product or a service that's going to address them. And that's what we think we've done, and we're continuing to develop. Yeah.
This is amazing. And I think that it's revolutionary, as I said earlier. Paul, what do you think? Do you think that
look, we think so. I mean,
wow.
I did a lot of looking and I couldn't see anything quite like this. Both in terms of the assessment methodology, but also, as I said, in terms of actual industry benchmarks. So yeah, we definitely think it is. The feedback's been really positive so far. One of the tools that we use in the assessments of all of these clinics is something called Net Promoter Score, which, for anyone that's not familiar with it, is the global benchmark for customer satisfaction. That's part of the assessment that we do. We assess all of the clinic's clients to find out Net Promoter Score, as well as a range of other things. But I mention that because we believe in surveys. What we've done is we've surveyed all the owners that have gone through the assessment process, of course, to find out what they like, what they think could improve, and of course, things like a Net Promoter Score. So we're currently sitting on a Net Promoter Score of 88, which is very high. The maximum you can be is 100. It goes from minus 100 to positive 100, and we're at 88. So that's very encouraging. It means that there's some evidence of the fact that what we're doing is worthwhile.
The validation of the research. It's a research, yes, Paul. And, because I'm the university environment, I really think that it would be an amazing thesis, what you are doing.
Yeah.
Really an amazing thesis, because you have the need, the significance there for society to increase, the patient care and satisfaction. There is a gap there that you are trying to fill. Yes. And the potential outcome, positive outcome, is enormous, Paul.
Yeah, look, we certainly think so. And you mentioned sentiment analysis before, and that was one of the things that I was most impressed about with the project with Torrens University that Kevin led was, we discussed that as a loose idea, but that's all. All right. Whereas what they developed was a tool that can actually do that. And what's really interesting about that is even in our really early stages, which we're still in very early stages, we have, and I'll have to find the exact number, but we have somewhere between 3,500 client responses. So the clients of all these different clinics. And already, that's starting to be a significant number. When you run sentiment analysis over those responses in a de-identified way, of course, to protect privacy, what the learning that you get from that is quite significant. So what's the typical kind of language people will use when describing an allied health service, or when describing what they want in a health practitioner, et cetera, et cetera. So the uses are, I think, barely tapped.
Amazing, Paul. And Kevin said that this is accurate, yes? The data that you collect through the sentiment analysis is accurate. But when we talk about sentiment, yes, do you think that it can be that accurate? This data, this information that you get through this analysis, do you think that it's 100% accurate? I just would like to, I'm just thinking,
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure that you could classify virtually anything as 100% accurate, but as close as is practical to it, sure. And the reason for that is, if from a statistics perspective, you need to have a certain amount of something before you can draw meaningful conclusions, of course. When you get to the point of thousands, where they're from a variety of geographies, a variety of low socioeconomic areas, etc., then that's highly accurate for sure. And the machine learning is very capable of understanding sentiment through the data analysis. So, out of all those responses, there might be that 500 of them use a particular word, for example, empathy, just as picking one. So empathy is absolutely crucial in providing that service, which is known, but having data on that and then trying to drill down further into what type of empathy is actually the most valuable and the most appreciated by clients. Then you start to get into something really interesting. So how do you deliver the empathy? Most practitioners understand very well that being empathetic is part of what they need to do to be an effective practitioner. But what we might be able to do through some of this data, and I'm just sort of thinking this through on the spot as well, but we might be able to define the types of empathy that are more effective in providing treatment than others, as just one small example. So I think there's a lot of accuracy to it, without question.
Well, this is incredible, and well done to you, for come up with something so so important and valuable, especially in the health sector. And I'm pretty sure that you are very passionate about it. Yes, Paul?
Absolutely. Yeah.
maybe just add a little bit on
yes, Kevin?
Paul's point. So in terms of accuracy, again, agree with Paul. We can't really tell 100% if his sentiment analysis will be 100% accurate or not. That's why during the completion of the project last 5 semesters, we try to put a personality on our machine learning artificial intelligence model, in the sense that we built a scenario that's, for example, the clinic A has 10 team members in there, maybe 4 nurses and then 1 doctors or something, and then we tell a little bit of story actually about the clinic. By giving the story or telling the story or giving a personality to the artificial intelligence, it also can help to bring the accuracy level up.
I'm just reflecting now, Kevin and Paul, as a former coach and also as a lecturer. Sometimes, I have an idea about what the students need. How do they want me to deliver a particular lesson or a particular content? How they want to be coached, how they want to be spoken to. But it's just a conception that I have in many cases. It's an idea that I have. And perhaps with artificial intelligence, I will get a better sense of, is what I'm thinking is actually right?
I think it can be done, definitely.
Yes, Kevin, how I'm delivering my style really fits, that this group of students. Is
that's true.
How they want to learn? Is that how they want to receive my advice? I think that we have so many misconceptions in life, don't we? Sometimes that's because of tradition,
and human bias, again, opinions.
Human bias, yes.
That's true. And again, if you're taking surveys out of your 50 students, let's say, Larissa, and then it will take you forever, to analyze one of the each of them one by one.
Yes.
Meanwhile, by using artificial intelligence, it can be done even maybe in less than 1 day. So,
this is amazing.
That's amazing.
So, Paul, Kevin, so would you agree with me that project managers now, aspiring project managers, or even business analysts, they must start learning, or they must start researching and getting more interested in learning more about artificial intelligence and its benefits and its tools? Paul, can you please remind me about the tool that you just mentioned before that you've been using for the analysis of the project? You mentioned the name. Could you please, Kevin,
Net Promoter Score?
And yes.
Are there any other tools, Paul?
Look, Yeah, there's a number of tools and methodologies
that you would recommend, especially for our students, for example, they want to start, learning some of machine intelligence, artificial intelligence tools.
I mean, net promoter score is a customer satisfaction global standard. It's not necessarily anything to do with AI. AI helps, as we've discussed, in terms of interpretation, but I think it is important to understand what net promoter score is, because there isn't an industry, be it profit or not for profit, that doesn't need to understand how its products and services are being received by their clients, and understanding the basis of net promoter score and what it is, I think, is really important. I'll just give you a brief answer on the project management and AI bit. There was, and I don't claim to be an expert about this, by the way, certainly not, but I did read something interesting in Harvard Business Review article about this topic, and I think the number was that of all the projects analyzed, only 35% were completed, and the total they mentioned was something like a $14-15 trillion value of all these projects. So the argument is, the thrust of the article was utilizing tools like AI to help, and Kevin touched on some of this before about scheduling, understanding your work habits more, etc., etc. What they found was one of the main reasons that projects weren't completed was the harnessing of technology and having the appropriate technological tools. So a lot of people that run projects still do it on spreadsheets, for example. So getting the technology better and using AI to help with some of those shortfalls will improve the completion rate, which potentially, based on that data set that they analyzed, is trillions of dollars worth, right? You just got to get a 10% improvement in terms of completion, and you've got another $1.4 trillion worth of projects completed, and all the flow-on effects from that. So I think there isn't really an industry that doesn't need to understand AI and understand the basics of it, and most importantly, how it potentially can apply for them. So, I mean, all students, I'm sure anyway, have played around with ChatGPT and the like a lot of the world did when it was launched. But just understanding the basics, and see, I think someone like Kevin knows a lot more than the basics. He's done a lot of work in understanding and working on prompts, which is a big part of using the tool effectively. But like anything in life, you can seek expert advice, and that's the other bit.
Course,
so
yes.
Educate yourself on what it is, what it can do. We're at the start of the revolution. So many people are calling it a revolution, along the lines of the Industrial Revolution, along the lines of the internet. It's that big, and look, everything I've seen and read, I can't help but agree with that. So I think that it's going to revolutionize the way we live, full stop. And it's something to get the learning started, get your basics, your basic knowledge up on it, for sure.
Yes, and apply for placements, with the Social Enterprise Hub.
There you go.
Please. So you can work with amazing organizations like Rate My Clinic, and with amazing industry partners, experts like Paul. Please do it now. So Paul, I'm going to put Kevin on spot now. So are you enjoying working with Kevin?
Yes. So one of the things I really enjoyed about working with Kevin, was his enthusiasm and his drive and passion for understanding more and bringing the skills and experience that he has to bear on our project's been great. And so examples are even his WordPress knowledge is really good. So he's helped with a few things on our website. He's helped get a free survey up and running on the website, which was a tremendous benefit. Look, I've loved it, and he's doing a great job for us. And I hope we can continue to benefit from Kevin's experience for a little bit longer before he gets snapped up by a big corporate somewhere.
Yes, Paul, well said. And also Kevin is very proactive, very humble too, like you, Paul. All the time when I contacted Kevin and I invited him for this podcast, for example, for him to share his testimonials while working with the Social Enterprise Hub, as a project advisor, with the Rate My Clinic, he was always willing to help and to assist us. And yes, so thank you, Kevin. We love what you do too, Kevin, here at Torrens, and we are very, very, very proud of you, of your achievements. And okay, so to wrap up, Paul and Kevin, is artificial intelligence a threat or a tool that can benefit everybody, any industry, any business owners? Or it really depends on your perspective, or yes, just tell me what you think about this statement. This is something that we should be worried, because all the time when I read online, Elon Musk keeps saying that human will be replaced by AI. Nobody will have to work anymore. So what do you think about it, Kevin and Paul?
So in my opinion, artificial intelligence is it's revolutionized the way we living our life. It can be applied to all kind of industry. It can increase efficiency of, even it can increase the, I would say in the future, it can help you to live longer through like maybe reading the data about your body. How can you, the point is, how can you live longer? But at this point, we are still in the gray area. It's not, it's like, it's neither in the black or white, because again, it's still, especially in Australia, it's still unregulated by the government. And then there were so many cases of the data privacy problem with the big companies, because these days, pretty much all the people use ChatGPT, to increase the work efficiency, right? And they end up submitting very valuable and information from the company to ChatGPT. And then if you need to understand that ChatGPT keep learning from the data that you feed to the system. So
great advice, Kevin. Very good advice. Amazing. So Paul, here at Torrens, and Kevin knows a lot about it, we love what we do. We are very passionate about our students' achievements. We are very interested in getting to know more about their journey, about where they are up to. And we firmly believe, and I know that it's not a cliche, that it's very important for you to love what you do. And when you love what you do, you can do great work, and you can come up with something revolutionary like what you are doing, Paul and Kevin, truly, that will improve the lives, really, and the care and the relationship of, medical professionals and patient, which is fantastic. So, Paul, very quick question. Yes or no? Do you love what you do, Paul?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Without question.
Kevin, do you love what you do?
Yes, definitely.
Amazing. I also love what I do. I can't wait to share this amazing episode with you all, and keep in touch.